Once described as the jewel of Africa, Zimbabwe has over the years faced many challenges emanating from what the international community has defined as mismanagement of the economy by President Robert Mugabe's government, rampant corruption, lack of rule of law, election rigging and other alleged offences. Mr. Mugabe has in turn blamed the country's worsening economy on the Western targeted sanctions imposed on him and some top party and business officials in 2001. During a recent panel discussion at the Voice of America titled 2018 Zimbabwe's Watershed Moment Beyond Elections, panelists debated this debacle with opinions differing over the cause of the country's socio-economic degradation. Panelist Harry Thomas Jr., U.S. Ambassador to Zimbabwe, challenged assertions that sanctions are causing havoc in Zimbabwe.
Millions and billions of dollars have gone missing in mining. That wasn't the United States who said that. That was President Mugabe. The other thing is that Zimbabwe was in arrears to IMF and the World Bank for years. They've settled with IMF, not AFDB. Those things started before sanctions were imposed because Zimbabwe stopped paying its loans when it was off in the Congo.
Ambassador Thomas Jr., who was one of the four panelists at the discussion, urged a more informed discussion on sanctions rather than the emotional name-calling and refusal to accept that he says he often receives.
Africans are intelligent, especially Zimbabweans. So why is that never backed with a fact or statistics? This is amazing to me. Again, we are not responsible for the economy. Now, if you ask me, have there ever been an area where sanctions have affected people? I will say yes, and where, but don't give me every day, every person.
Ambassador Thomas Jr. said Congress and the sitting president have the prerogative to either keep or remove the sanctions. His remarks attracted sharp reactions from some members of the audience, including co-panelist Dr. Chipo Tendere, assistant professor at Gettysburg College in Pennsylvania, USA.
Ambassador, you mentioned that Zimbabweans are very smart, so we should have data to suggest that sanctions don't work. And there is data, so I'll be happy to share with you some of that and to show you how sanctions have affected the everyday person in a very negative way.
His sentiments were echoed by African Union representative to the USA, Ambassador Arikana Chihombori Kwa.
To the ambassador, it's a known fact that sanctions do not work. And in fact, they do affect the everyday women and children. And in your position, if you say the sanctions are not making a difference in Zimbabwe, why not remove them?
Western countries, including the US, imposed targeted sanctions on Mr. Mugabe and his close associates to force Mr. Mugabe to respect the rule of law and hold credible elections following allegations of vote rigging and human rights violations that included the forcible removal of white farmers from their land. International development consultant Dr. Tawuya Katso, also a panelist, alongside Ambassador Thomas Jr., Dr. Dendere and Dr. Roderick Machekano of the Zimbabwe Diaspora Network North America, blamed Zimbabwe's current problems on the ruling Zanu-PF party.
We have a problem, and the problem is the government of Zimbabwe. We need to stop talking and having all these chats because they're not going to help us, but we need to ascertain how we can change the administration in Zimbabwe. And it starts with each and every one of us contributing ideas and really stating to the point that, hey, things have failed.
Dr. Katso raised concern over the government's inability to meet the citizens' most basic needs.
Question them. We need that authority and that power to start asking questions to Zanu-PF or whoever runs the party. Hey, how come there's no water? Why? That's a natural resource. Your degree won't give me water. I need water.
While some participants supported Dr. Katso's push for a constitutional change of government, not all were quick to write off the ruling party. Dr. Frank Guni, who lives in the USA and supports Mr. Mugabe, agreed that change was necessary in Zimbabwe, but said that change could be best achieved with a reformed Zanu-PF.
Does any one of you, the panelists, actually believe that the fragmented opposition in Zimbabwe is going to win the elections in 2018? I mean, seriously, see what's happening in Zimbabwe, no one is happy. both people in the opposition and those who belong to Zanu-PF. Like me, I was born in Zanu-PF. I've been in Zanu-PF since I was a little kid. And I believe change is necessary, not just for the people in the diaspora, not just for the people in Zimbabwe, but even within Zanu-PF. And as part of Zanu-PF, I'm challenging anyone here in the diaspora that let's come together, rejuvenate and reform both the ruling party and Zimbabwe.
Staying clear of attacking the ruling party or supporting the opposition, panelist Dr. Machekano urged Zimbabweans to work together for the benefit of the nation.
As Plato said, if you do not participate, then you will be governed by those who are inferior to you. I am urging the diaspora to participate.
Dr. Machekano shared that the Zimbabwean government has already started working with members of his organization to revitalize the country's economy.
We have already started engaging with the current government of Zimbabwe. I don't know if many of you have read the Zimbabwe diaspora policy, which they put out through the Ministry of Manpower Planning. And some of the inputs in that policy came from us. They also sent out that draft policy for us to contribute, put in comments. And so we are there to stay, we are participating, we are engaging. We have representatives in Zimbabwe, formerly in the diaspora. They have returned back home, and they are keeping the link between us here in North America and the Zimbabwe front. So whatever is happening in Zimbabwe, they are engaged and they keep us abreast.
Dr. Machekano, however, noted that though the situation is not rosy in Zimbabwe, the country can pull out of the doldrums.
We have the human resources, the capacity to do. It's not like it's a gloom situation where you have nothing to build on.
His appeal for fully engaging Zimbabwe had some takers, especially Dr. Tendere, who owns Zimtak Shop, an online business for buying and selling Zimbabwean products in the USA.
I also want to urge the diaspora, go home, start businesses, not with your family members, because they're probably just going to use your money. And we know this is the case. Start businesses, because those of us who started businesses at home, we've been talking a lot about a difference that it would make if there were 10, 15 other people who have businesses and we could lobby as a group. So you see, when I try to lobby the government as myself, as Chipo with my 2 businesses alone, my voice is very weak. That's why the government is able to walk all over me.
Dr. Tendere implored upon Zimbabweans in the diaspora to fund democratic efforts by civic society groups trying to bring change.
This costs money. Democracy is expensive. And if we don't put money into it, that's how people become corrupt. Because they're also trying to live and they don't have a salary. I mean, I think of all of those activists. Where do you think they're getting money for bread from? Where do you think they're getting money for school fees for their kids?
In our next edition of this special report, we will focus on possibilities of an opposition party coalition ahead of the 2018 Zimbabwe general elections. Reporting for Studio 7 in Washington, D.C., this is Gibbs Dube.